Welcome to Torn Apart News, the only place on the internet where we tear the news apart bit by bit until we can finally celebrate the new year, because I'm sitting here on the 31st telling you the news instead of celebrating. If this isn't dedication, I don't know what it is.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.
No! God, please, no! No!
There haven't been that many new trailers releasing this week, and this has mostly to do with the fact that it's the last week of the year, and very often people don't want to market their shit because, well, people are not noticing because of Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. Well, they're too busy celebrating with their families to pay attention to the movie news.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock!
And this is why I decided to have a look online, and specifically on Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, on the account of Discussing Film to see if there was anything worth discussing. And I found an interesting game which revolves around the fact of talking about sequels, new episodes in the franchises, prequels. They're coming out next year. So let's have a look at all of the different lists and comment upon some of them if I have anything more to add. For instance, one of the sequels that is coming out next year is going to be Joker 2, for which we have now some production images that I'm going to be putting up here. Just in case you don't know, it's going to be directed by Todd Phillips like the first one, and apparently it's going to be a musical, or it's going to have some musical numbers at the very least. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a trailer for this very soon. Then we're going to have Dune Part 2, of course, and we have a trailer for this. We're also going to have Smile 2. I was not a huge fan of the first movie, and honestly I'm not surprised that they're making a second one just because it was so incredibly successful. We have Sonic 3 coming out as well. Sonic 2 was quite fun, the first one was fun as well, and at the end of the day the third one I suppose is gonna be fun. These are no-brainers, these are not gonna change the rules of filmmaking at all. These are just fun blockbusters that are there just to be forgotten as soon as you see them, so it doesn't really bother me that much that there is a third one coming out next year. We've got Venom 3, of course, which is coming out, and honestly this is the franchise that I hate the most in the entire Sonyverse. I really don't understand why it's still happening. The second one was such a disgrace, and I'm not gonna give money to this one, so I'm gonna wait for it to come out on streaming. We have Terrifier 3, of course, coming out, and I actually talked about it a couple of weeks ago with a teaser and a poster as well. Gladiator 2 is supposed to come out. We've talked about it. It's probably in post-production right now, and if it is coming out, it's coming out by the end of the year, not before that, of course. Then we have Bad Boys 4. We don't have that many news about this movie specifically. The third one wasn't actually that impressive now that I think about it. We've got Deadpool 3, of course, and we'll probably get a trailer at some point, maybe around February or March. We have Inside Out 2.
Hello! Ah! Oh my gosh, I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff?
A new emotion!
Juice 2, which I've talked about as well. Paddington 3. I really don't care about the Paddington movies. I really don't understand why people find them so incredibly cool and fun. Then we have Ghostbusters 4, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Despicable Me 4, for which we don't really have either a poster or a trailer. So just because of that, I'm not sure whether it's actually coming out next year. Then we have Kung Fu Panda 4. We discussed the trailer a couple of weeks ago, and same thing goes with Beverly Hills Cop 4. And then on Discussing Film, they also made a list of all the video game adaptations that are coming out next year, so let's have a look at that. We've got Fallout, of course, which we talked about on this channel. Knuckles, which apparently is gonna be a spin-off series of the Sonic movies. We've got Borderlands as well, which has been in the main discussion for quite a long time. Halo Season 2, I showed you the trailer. Arcane Season 2, I showed you the teaser trailer. Apparently there's a Tomb Raider anime which is coming out as well next year, and a Return to Silent Hill series. I think I talked about this maybe on TikTok, not necessarily here on the main channel. We've also have a Devil May Cry anime series. I've never played the Devil May Cry game, so I don't really know if I'm supposed to looking forward to this or not. And then something called Sonic Prime Season 3. I have no idea what Sonic Prime is. Let me know down in the comments if you're looking forward to this or not. And since we're talking about IPs, sequels, franchises, of course, we also have to talk about all the different superhero shows that are coming out next year. And we have a couple of surprises that I had no idea that were actually happening. Of course, we have Echo, for which I will have a review coming out on this main channel in a couple of weeks. We've got Kraven the Hunter, which was supposed to come out this October, but it was moved. We got the Agatha Coven of Chaos series as well, for which we don't really have a main trailer, but we talked about it as well. We also have X-Men 97, which I don't really know exactly what is happening with that. We have the Penguin series, which I talked about. The Boys season 4, for which we have posters already. We have the second half of season 2 of Invincible as well. Of course, we have Madam Web, and this is gonna be a disaster. Apparently, there's gonna be a Megamind TV show. I don't really know whether this is supposed to be a sequel to the movie or it's supposed to be a prequel. I'm not sure, but let's keep our minds open at this point. We also have two incredibly fun animated MCU shows, which are gonna be Eyes of Wakanda and also Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I honestly hope that Disney and Marvel are gonna be making more animated shows because there is so much potential there. And also, if you keep going with the idea of Elseworld stories, I'm pretty sure that the animated format can give so much more freedom to writers to just experiment a little bit more, especially if they're not related to the main storyline. People are gonna love them, so give us more of that kind of stuff. Then we've got Suicide Squad Isekai, of course we talked about it. Apparently it's gonna be an animated version of Watchmen. Not sure what this is about. And then we have, of course, Creature Commandos, which is gonna be the first puzzle piece of James Gunn's strategy for the DCU. Now let's head very quickly into our bonus news, where I try to rapid fire as many news about movie and TV shows as fast as possible so that you can be caught up with all the news that came out this week and you can go back to your lives.
Finally!
First of all, we have a first teaser for Rebel Moon Part 2. Honestly, I was not a huge fan of Part 1, and it's actually insane that we still don't have a release date for the director's cut of Rebel Moon Part 1, and we're already talking about Part 2. So when is the director's cut supposed to come out? Maybe they're gonna use it like for marketing purposes, they're gonna release it like a week before. Honestly, I'm more looking forward to seeing the actual version, the R-rated version of this movie, before wanting to see the second part, because the first part was just not good enough. And then we have a new clip for the season 3 of What If. I'm not really that interested in What If. I honestly find that the animation style is incredibly cheap, but I just wanted to mention it because apparently the second season of What If has received quite a lot of praise from fans. So you might be interested in knowing that season 3 is actually happening and coming out quite soon as well. And then we have a first image of Coyote versus Acme that you can see right here, where you've got, of course, Willie Coyote himself and the actor Will Forte, who is playing his lawyer. We had never seen any images from this film here, so I'm quite excited. I really hope it's gonna be bought by one of the streaming services and we'll finally get to see it. Also, because recently I watched Looney Tunes Back in Action, and honestly there is so much potential with that kind of property and I want them to exploit it a little bit more. I really miss the Looney Tunes doing weird things with human beings, and I really hope that it's gonna bring a renaissance for more movies in this genre. And now we're gonna move to my favorite segment of the week, which is called And for Something Weird, where we talk about something weird that happened this week concerning the movie or TV show news. And this week apparently we learned that Disney is working on a weird book inspired by the Alien franchise that is supposed to be aimed at children and is supposed to teach them the A to Z, so the alphabet, right? Of course, we have an image of it and it looks like this, and it's supposed to be a light-hearted reimagining of the film that follows Ripley and the Nostromo crew as they introduce the alphabet from A to Z. This is so incredibly weird, and I hope that your life is a little bit better just by knowing that. Anyways, I hope you had a really good New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, and let's head into a new year of fantastic episodes of Torn Apart News. I'm Patrick, and guess what? This is Torn Apart News.
Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show.
Da 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 da.